Welcome everyone to the Chompcast, the official podcast of Sword Chomp and SwordChomp.com. Thank you for downloading or streaming our podcast, taking some time out of your busy life to listen to us. And remember, if you're digging the show, please subscribe, leave us a kind rating, share it with your friends, whatever you can do. It really helps us in reaching a bigger audience. We have a stellar show today, so let's get to some quick introductions first. The people that you will be talking, well, I guess they will be talking to you over the next couple hours. First up, from Michigan, Mr. I Hate Cheese on My Donuts, Joshua Fowler. How you doing, Josh?
Cheesy.
You doing cheesy?
Cheesy, yes.
Yeah,
just not on a donut.
Dude, I don't blame you. I say that picture this morning, I'm like, man, the Flash really did make it look like my donuts had cheese on them. How disgusting would that be?
Huh. And not like good cheese, not something you can possibly consider putting on a donut. It looked like just the cheapest of American cheeses.
Just, yeah. Like
fucking government cheese. Mm-hmm. Just a slice of government cheese and melted on there.
It's like Velveeta. We all know Velveeta is made from God knows what, right?
Stop that.
It doesn't even have to be refrigerated. You ever notice that? It doesn't need to be refrigerated.
I know. I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything you can keep on the shelf like that. Like, yeah, glad you're here, Josh. And next up, from Japan, we are joined by Mr. Shea. I finally have a good microphone, so I should sound so much better on the podcast. Leighton, how you doing, Shea?
Power up. And I'm good.
Power up. Do you feel power? Have you leveled up now with your new microphone?
I have. You know those blue little orbs that float in the sky? I grabbed one and now I'm slightly more buff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep going with this video game reference that none of you are getting. I know one of our listeners will be like,
I think it's Crackdown. Crackdown.
There's no way it's Crackdown. But you're right. Fish is probably right. There's blue orbs in Crackdown.
There is.
Do you get slightly more buff when you grab them?
Yeah, it does.
Probably not.
I'm not familiar with Crackdown, but Destiny.
I'm talking about
power orbs.
I'm talking about Altered Beast from Sega Genesis.
Oh god. And the show has already hit a nosedive.
That's right, because the host started talking again.
We're just gonna go back and forth this for a while, but I'm actually glad you have a new microphone, Shea. I'm excited.
Me too. It's about time I sounded halfway decent.
It's about time. You need all the help you can get in that department.
True.
Back and forth. We're just trading blows already. But no, a lot of cool stuff we'll get to later as far as things that came with your microphone as well. So, and next, of course, from Texas, our next co-host. Actually, I got a fax here I had to pull out. Can you guys hear that paper? I wanted to read this fax. I just got it delivered this morning, just in time, actually. Because it's pretty important. This fax I just received from a research station orbiting the planet SR3888. Some listeners may know this as a space station from the Metroid Fusion game. So, just want to put that in perspective for people. Anyways, I received this fax. It's actually an accident report. It says, about 10 years ago, apparently our next co-host was working with another scientist on an experiment. They were running some tests on a captured Metroid. At one point, it looks like the other scientist stepped out to grab a snack and make a phone call. When he returned, they found quite a scene. It was Fish, belly up, naked and quivering, and there was a larva Metroid attached to his genital region. Here to clear up what happened, we have Anthony Fisher joining us. How's it going, Fish?
Hey, yeah, that scientist was apparently me. Belly up.
That was you.
Yep, that was me. I had that Metroid. That Metroid just looks so damn sexy in its test tube. I had to let it out, and one thing led to another, and yeah, ended up with that Metroid all over my cock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the scientist said when he returned to the room, at first it looked like you were wearing a green diaper, but it was just the Metroid wrapped around your entire genital region. So that's quite a scene. How did you? I just want to know, how did you lure the Metroid? Before we move on, how did you lure the Metroid onto your nether regions? If you don't mind me asking.
I just put it out there, made it look like a little worm, and he went for it.
Oh, okay, it's like the fishing. It was like the anglerfish technique. Is that what it was?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. I know that job, that part-time scientist job you had didn't work out, but glad you're joining us today.
I did like space, though.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? It was a dream job. And of course, I'm your host, General Mountain Time, Morgan Barnes from Montana. We have a big show lined up. Metroid Samus Returns is the new game we are discussing today, so we have some early impressions. In the back end of the show, we have some Gravity Rush 2 as Shea rejoins the gaming world with his PS4, and we dip that dipstick a bit more into the Destiny 2 Vex fluid to gauge our Destiny addictions. In the bio break portion of the show, we had a giant frog that could have devoured dinosaurs. So lots of cool stuff to talk about today. But the main topic of the show is mood. As I kind of switch over directly from my notes to staring at your beautiful faces on the webcam, we were kind of, at the last minute, we had to do some rescheduling and we were trying to think of a topic for the show. And the way this whole mood topic came up is I was thinking about how I'd been really addicted to Destiny 2 lately, and I had almost forgotten that Metroid was going to come out. And then it just came out, and I was trying to get into it, and I just didn't feel like I was in the mood to play Metroid, because I sort of was stuck in this other gaming mindset. And I think a lot of us have been there before in a lot of different ways. And that expands to greater things. Like, I know around Christmas time, weirdly enough, I always get in the mood for like a Mario game, which I know sounds really dumb, but there's just something about like Christmas morning and like playing Mario that's basically ingrained in my memories. And it just got us thinking about mood, like how mood affects the way we enjoy or play games. Sometimes you'll hear people even say, hey, I'm in the mood to play I haven't played a shooter in like a year. I'm in the mood for a shooter. So like that plays a big part in our gaming world. So it just got us thinking that'd be a fun topic we could roll with. I'll throw it to you first, Josh. Like, when I brought this up, where did your brain kind of spiral out to?
Kind of the first thing that I thought of obviously was kind of like my comfort food games, the ones that I'll play just if I really just don't want to think, if I just to veg out, because I've got a few of those that you can just turn on and not even have to process. It just your brain does it automatically at this point. Stuff like like Sudoku. So I've got several versions of that all over the place, and stuff like the Picross games, like I was talking about last week. Games I can just kind of turn on and just zone out for a while.
Which is funny because those are thinking games. So those are your zone out games? That's how different we are, Josh. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's kind of where my mind first went. But as far as you were talking about like burnout or something like that, I get that way with MMOs a lot. Like, I really enjoy WoW, but I can't just keep playing it the way a lot of people do, just constantly. I need breaks. Like, I could play it, a few months a year, sort of a thing.
You have to be, like the mood there. That's the other end of a mood. Like when you're just so burnt out on something that like you feel like that for your body to charge back up, almost like spiritually to be in the mood for that game again. It's like time. Usually time is the big thing, right? Like just separation, maybe a new version of it.
Yeah, that's part of it. I don't know. I have a hard time with like the yearly sequels because a lot of times it doesn't feel like I'm not ready yet for a lot of games like that. Which is strange. A year is plenty of time to be ready for another game, but It doesn't seem like it a lot of times. It seems like you just played the
That's
last
true.
game
You
sometimes.
think it's because video games by nature are usually a bigger investment? Like you play a game for like a whole month?
That may be part of it. I mean, the time investment is more along the lines of like watching a series of a TV show or something. As far as the amount of time you're putting into it, and that's something that you generally get one a year. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's true. You fill up on that a lot quicker. What about you, Shea? When we started talking about like mood, where did you start taking this?
I kind of along the same lines of Josh. I just kind of was really thinking about whenever I'm in a particular mood, I will go to certain games. Whenever I'm really down and out, or I'm like going through, excuse me, a rough period of time, I will gravitate towards the games that that I'm really familiar with. So I think that's kind of what Josh was alluding to, and for me that's kind of what happens. That's why part of the reason why I've played Shining Force so much is because that game reminds me so much of my childhood. And if I'm feeling like particularly lonely, like I miss my father and my little brothers back home in America, I'll pop that on, and it's not obviously quite the same as, you know, hanging out with them, but it reminds me of when I was growing up and my dad and I played the Sega Genesis all the time together. It's as close as I can be to him without, you know, being there with him, besides, you know, typical Skype conversations and things of that nature. But at other times, you know, when I'm feeling a little bit more, I don't know if I'd say adventurous per se, maybe adventurous is the right word, or open-minded, or happy, I'll pop on a different game. Like Morgan said in the intro, I've been playing Gravity Rush 2 a lot this week since I got my PS3 finally, and it's been great. And,
PS3, huh?
Or PS4, whatever fucking generation we're on. But yeah, it's been really nice. That game is just incredible, and I don't want to delve into it, but yet. However, the mood really affects a lot of things. I think it's just kind of your state of mind, your state of thinking, what's internally and externally going on in your life. You know, if there's big things happening or you're kind of at a lull in your life, if you're in a more adventurous mood, or if you are just the type of person who likes to stay with Old Faithful. And I think that's why a lot of people still play first-person shooters or play MMOs, is because those things are very consistent and easy to delve into, you know?
Yeah. Keeps their mood at a nice level place, which is, it's interesting that both of you both you and Josh almost started diving into nostalgia, which was last week's topic. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but you guys both started thinking about like comfort foods and like where those games bring you, which is interesting because that is part of mood in a way, even though I might have been thinking more like what puts you in the mood or not in the mood for a game, but still being in like a nice, like people who love playing Call of Duty every year, they want to play it every year. They're in the mood for it every year because they're in the mood for that familiar, like it's almost like the NFL or the NBA. Like people who are a fan of a sport, they know that time of year that thing is coming around and their body is ready. Especially like in the fall, like in Montana right now, it just changed the seasons and it's got that nice crisp smell. We know where you step outside, it just smells like fall, and that always reminds me of like fall gaming and football, and like it's my favorite time of the year. And then it makes me almost want to play certain kinds of games. I think of like the end of the year and all that stuff, and that's all brought on literally by the change of season as well, which is interesting, which is why like Pokemon is a game I think a lot about in the spring and the summer for some reason. A lot of my best Pokemon memories as a kid were